Hi there, my name is Hope, and I'm here today to talk to you about the partnership between Feed Iowa First and Brucemore. I am an AmeriCorps service member that is kind of the liaison between Feed Iowa First and Brucemore this summer, and I'm working to be an ambassador here for this cutting garden for Feed Iowa First at Brucemore, and then when I go to Feed Iowa First to kind of be that Brucemore representative there as well. So today we're going to talk about what's growing here at Brucemore, how we use what's growing and distribute it, and kind of our techniques for growing. So come on. Feed Iowa First is a really special organization that works to combat food insecurity in Linn County specifically. So works with a lot of residents to volunteer and farm and grow. So here we have the Brucemore plot that they're using, and there are a lot of urban plots throughout the city with different organizations taking care of them, while Feed Iowa First provides the materials and the plants so that we can all work to grow really good food for our community. I've got some deterrents so we don't have any bunnies or deer getting in, so that's what these gates are for. That way they're not too substantial and we can kind of throw them up, so not using too many resources. But what we got growing this year is we have some onions along here, and what the onions do is they have a really strong scent, right? So they'll act as a deterrent for the deer especially, a little bit the rabbits too, but mostly the deer hate the smell. So this is kind of a protective layer for these peppers. Now these guys out here, they're a little left on their own, but we have some deer spray that we will spray sometimes, maybe once a week. Right now we're holding off on deer spraying because we have some purslane that grows naturally. And now many people will see this as a weed, but it can actually be used as a salad green. A volunteer pointed that out to us, that it could be used as a salad green. So I talked to, people at Feed Iowa First, and they said, let's harvest it, let's use it. Worst case, maybe people don't like it, but at least we can try and we can still get something out there with really good nutrients. There's a lot here too, so we can get a really bountiful harvest by just having something that people see as a weed harvested for food. Along here, we have some irrigation line right here. That is a system that we have at a spigot over there that runs 1 hour really early in the morning. So it's not running all the time, so we conserve a lot of water, but we're also getting the plants what they need. So the onions get enough and the peppers get enough. These tarps you can see here, they act as a deterrent for weeds so that weeds don't go in around those peppers, and they can have their best chance to get as much nutrients they can from the soil without weeds interfering. That also protects the irrigation underneath there, and the tarp that's black right here, it acts as kind of reflecting that heat back up, kind of holding it a little bit, but also making it hotter in this garden here, which the peppers really like. They like heat. And so Iowa climate, maybe not usually for peppers, but with the added heat of that, we don't have a ton of tree cover here, so they're getting all the sunlight they possibly can, which is just great for these pepper plants. So yeah, we have a bunch. We planted about 600 pepper plants in May, quite a significant amount for a patch of this size. Originally, the cutting garden here was probably a bit bigger, that historically was used here by the families that owned Brucemore. Obviously, this is where we do a majority of our work with the help of some great volunteers. We also use some of what was already built into the Brucemore environment. So these amazing grapevines along here, we are lucky enough to have access to these as well. And what we harvest from these is not just the grapes themselves. You can see some grapes right in here already growing away. Also these grape leaves. So a lot of people from different cultures will use these grape leaves for cooking, sometimes as a wrap and other times kind of in things, maybe as greens. So looking at this now, it may seem like we're not growing too much as we're only growing onions and peppers. However, Feed Iowa First has a substantial amount of space within the city with a lot of urban gardens that I talked about earlier. They have a plot of land they call the farm out at Wanatee, and they also use that space to grow a lot of other things. So right now they're growing sweet potatoes, tomatoes, lettuce, cabbage, cucumbers, zucchini, all sorts of things. They're growing all over the city. And a lot of plots are actually much smaller than this. People will pitch in and they'll reach out to Feed Iowa First, or Feed Iowa First will reach out to them. But yeah, so this is just for these things that were deemed, culturally relevant and necessary. So onions, tons of cuisines use onions, so everyone's eating onions for all their different cuisines. And then hot peppers were seen as something that was necessary and culturally relevant that people expressed a need for. So Feed Iowa First decided to do hot peppers, and they have in the past, but this is definitely a really big patch of hot peppers that we're doing this year. It's just wonderful that we can use the space that we have and grow all these different things with these techniques of, making sure it's warm, getting these deterrents in here so that we can grow as much as possible without losing crop. All right, you've seen two of our spaces. Now let's head to the orchard. AmeriCorps does a really great job of connecting organizations with people that they need when they need them. So I was just really grateful to be able to fill this position. I'll be here for 10 weeks and take care of a majority of some of the maintenance while growing, maintaining the orchard, and a lot of what will be harvested will actually be harvested after I leave. But I'm so grateful to be able to, have this position where I take care of everything before it's ready to harvest, and then hopefully, and pun not intended, but see the fruits of my labor later on when I hear about who they're able to help with everything that they harvest. What we've got here are some plum trees, pear trees, apple trees, cherry trees. And just recently we harvested the cherries, and they were definitely a fan favorite wherever they were distributed. We got about 30 pounds of cherries out of these trees, and we didn't even harvest them all. That's how much there was to harvest, and the great volunteers that came in, we were just able to get 30 pounds, but that's still not a small quantity. So we also have some walnuts that we're hoping to harvest this year. We'll see how they pin out. Sometimes walnut trees, good one year, not good the next, so we'll see how they go. The way that we distribute what we're growing here to the people who really need it. So there's a couple of techniques. Some of it will be giving the food that we harvest and then clean up right to food pantries that we partner with. So there's a few throughout the city. And then also we'll do direct distribution as well. There's a schedule that we have with a van where we take it out and we distribute food to people at specific locations where need has been expressed, and then make sure that that food is getting directly to people. So there's a couple different techniques for how we distribute food, and then also people who grow their own food and are partners with us can then come and wash their veggies or their fruits or what have you at Feed Iowa First, and then get it given back to them so that they can distribute it to themselves and maybe to other members of their community. All right, thanks for coming and hanging out with me today in our growing spots at Brucemore. If you want to learn more about Feed Iowa First and their mission and how you can participate, you can go to Feed Iowa First website, feediowafirst.com. And we are so grateful to be able to be here at Brucemore, and we love hanging out. So hopefully we can continue this partnership for many years to come.
We hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to see more, hit the like button, the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel.